All right, and the reputation to the negative responses, let's go ahead and go down the list here. The first issue that they had spoken about and extensively was manpower and how LAPD is undermanned, excuse me. This is true, it's very true, but that's why community policing is kind of effective. It's because when the police aren't there, they rely on the community for tips, they rely on the community for information about events that just happened, and also the fact that accountability is super duper low. A lot of these lawful shootings that the negative is speaking about is only because the people who did the shooting was the law. And they are more bound to protect each other than somebody that they don't know. And a lot of times, these shootings in the database here that I'm referring to, it was actually created. Here, let me just read it to you. In 2015, the Washington Post created a database cataloging every fatal shooting nationwide by a police officer in the line of duty, collecting data on those who were killed and details of the shootings. The effort began because data compiled by the federal government was unreliable and incomplete. The project was awarded the 2016 Pulitzer Prize. So let's talk about how relevant it is that the law enforcement doesn't always give the public the whole truth. The beginning of this year, in Anaheim, California, an LAPD officer discharged his weapon in a group of teenage children. I was there. It was on my block. It incited a riot of over 300 people where they destroyed a house that did not even belong to the LAPD officer. This is a travesty on both sides because number one, that police officer was not held accountable for his actions and that child went to jail. Number two, there was not enough information being relayed to the public to the point that they didn't even know which house belonged to the LAPD officer who discharged his weapon. Oh, and a kicker to the whole thing, he was in plain clothes, was not on duty, and was not supposed to have his firearm on him. Let's also talk about body cams. The majority of the shootings that are logged in the database from all of 2015, 16, and 2017, the body cams are less than half. There aren't any video substantiaries to state that what the police officer is saying is true. And a lot of times, some police officers can't even get their story straight. In the shooting of a 22-year-old male in Anaheim, California, one of the police officers who did not do the shooting but was questioned, he says that the suspect was seen to be holding a wallet, whereas his partner said the suspect was seen to be holding a cell phone. Neither of these were a weapon, and yet the man was still shot dead. Secondly, of these shootings, the majority of them had tasers involved. So not only were these people shot and killed, but they were tased first. If that's not excessive force, I don't know what it is. The problem isn't race, the problem isn't manpower, the problem isn't any of the other things that the negative has actually brought to light, because these are all things that we're already talking about. To say that something isn't working or is working by the date of progress between 15 years in accordance to the 60 before, that's not really anything. It's not about time, it's about progress. And time does equal progress when more progress is put to work. That's why community policing is important. And to say North California, which we're not even debating here, but even Northern California could possibly use some community policing. I mean, if the community likes the police, they're probably going to interact with them and help them out more. That's just common sense.